Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike. This is going to be part 5 of my reviews on comics that were released on August 4th, 2021. I am very late, and technically today is New Comic Book Day. I have already done my New Comic Book Day pickup, so I had to rush and read these. So technically I'm not like right on the line. Not that I got a curfew or anything, but I just thought, it's already New Comic Book Day, and I already got a new stack to read, you know what I'm saying? Luckily this week is a light week compared to other weeks. I think I only have like 15 to read compared to 40. So let's dig into it. First up from Marvel, we got X-Men number 2. For me, it's a new series. I've been out of the loop for about, let's say 5-6 years, so I have absolutely no idea besides what I've heard about the X-Men. It's hard for me to stay on to this because I can say they're not doing a real good job of pulling together the pieces of what has happened. But I'm still sticking on because the art is phenomenal. The story is really good on where they're at and where they're going. And it's in a nutshell, the story is kind of basic enough for me to continue on going with this new team. So for now, I'm going to stick with it. But we're starting out, and it's like, for some reason, Gambit, he's in the treehouse, which is their new base in New York. And he's just chilling with the Thing and Rhino and Black Cat, and they're like playing poker. Rogue is kind of like, oh, where you been, and blah, blah. They kind of jump over to this new bad guy, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but he's right here. And they show him right here. And he kind of looks like a fungus with an alien mouth. His name is like Cordyceps, I think is his name, Cordyceps. And I think it's like a play on fungus or something like that. But he is basically like, he owns like it's called like Battle World or something like that, and it's like or Game World or something like that. And like basically anybody can take up the like highest bidding to send a threat to Earth and try and wipe it out kind of thing. But they have to like bid, and and then people place bets on who they send. And so basically it's another race that stepped up, and they're sending a threat, and it's the I think it's called the Annihilation Wave or something like that they're sending. They do show that it kind of has like a Prometheus kind of thing where he sucks it in, he's like, and then over here they show that the Annihilation Wave gets to Earth. The X-Men are quickly dispatched. That they show up in their new plane, which I think now is titled Thunderbird after one of the past X-Men, one of the first X-Men that died. And they jump into action. I will say one of the best things I like about this new team of X-Men is they really do imply the teamwork. It's a lot of like here with the Polaris and Jean Grey, and they're both using their powers combined. It's like that all over the board, like Cyclops and Rogue, using their, and even a lot of the new members, like the new Wolverine and Sync and some of the other ones. But overall, they eventually, it becomes, because this is supposed to be like this threat that no one can withstand or something, and and working as a team as the X-Men, they eventually just basically defeat it. They create the shield. Jean Grey they use the shield, and from the get-go they were going to use Sunfire to just burn it out. They find out at the end that this thing has never kind of met anything with the power of the sun. So they kind of knew in the beginning that they could take it out very easily. They do end up saving. They find out that most of the humans around that area and people have already kind of vacated, and it's just them, so they are allowed to rock free and havoc. While all this is going on, Jean Grey is able to contact the alien, and she gets some clues basically about that guy that's sending the aliens. And eventually they just let Sunfire burn it all out, and quickly it's dispersed. They do have a very small setup again of this other villain that appeared in the first issue, and I'm not going to go into big details because there's not really anything set up. They just show him at a table with this, he's doing genetic tests or something, and he just it's a little banter with him and his assistant. Um, but overall, it was a really good read. Amazing art. A very good X-Men story, I would say. You know, as a team effort type thing. Next up, from Marvel's Comics, this is Amazing Fantasy #1 of 5. Um, a really good story, really good art. I will say it's kind of sad, kind of the basis of it, because it follows 3 characters. This specific issue is Captain America, Spider-Man, and Black Widow. And in each one of their tales in the beginning, that they all meet their doom and die. And basically they are transported to, we don't know if it's heaven, hell, or somewhere in between, but they are transported somewhere in their death. So, I mean, yes, they do die, but it's not the end of their tale type thing. So they do go into, like, you know, Captain America, and he's in World War II, you know, and he is on some, you know, U-boats, and he's supposed to be protecting them, and in one moment, just kabooey! And Captain America is shown trying to save, you know, some people and stuff, and eventually it looks like he gets eaten by a large fish. They do have an amazing, you know, title spread, Amazing Fantasy of the you know, the title. And then they kind of hop right into it. Steve wakes up on a beach somewhere weird. He is met by this, you know, lion mixed with a, you know, hawk or something like that. You know, it kind of looks like a griffin, but I don't know what they're calling it. Captain America then, you know, at first he's kind of weirded out by the cat, and we do find out that he is being attacked by this, like, dragon thing, and Steve, like, ultimately decides that the griffin is, like, the friend that he needs to protect, so he helps the griffin. Next up, we get into Black Widow's story, and she's a younger version of the Black Widow, still at the you know, at the Red Room or the Widow Academy or whatever they're calling it. And she basically it's this whole escape scene, and she is, you know, leaving, and I mean, maybe to go join the Avengers. They don't really get into it, but she's trying to escape the Red Room, and she does, like, an amazing job and gets away, and it's all based on the story that if she did this and this and this, she could get to freedom, and of course it's like some betrayal and espionage stuff, and of course she meets her demise. They jump right into a, you know, Spider-Man story, and this is a teenage Spider-Man fighting, you know, an earlier version of Green Goblin, and he makes a beginner mistake, and Green Goblin catches him. He's more worried about his photography, and Green Goblin catches him off guard, and kabooey, and blows him up. They jump right into Spider-Man's, when Spider-Man wakes up, and basically wakes up in this, like, campfire setting, and he's being you know, served up as food, and it's like these frog guys that are about to eat him, and then all of a sudden, like, these bird guys show up to attack the frog guys, and in the mix, you know, Spider-Man's like, oh, I'm gonna take this opportunity and get the hell out of there. He tries to, and I mean, it's real catchy and panel to panel, but, like, there's, like, the bird that shows up, and it shows the bird taking out a bunch of the frogs quite easily, and Spider-Man thinks he's getting away, and the bird has been watching him the whole time and just kind of knocks him out. They kind of go further into Cap's story, and Cap ends up meeting this girl, and these, we're just going to call them 2 orcs, and that they are about to eat her, supposedly. And Cap ends up saving her, and comes to find out that she is not alone, that she is with this other, it's with her son. And they have Cap's shield, and the son is using Cap's shield to protect himself. And quickly right after this, you know, the girl passes out due to the whole events. They do show something that is coming after Cap, and it is not. It is that Griffin, the Griffin guy or whatever. Cap tries to get some information from the Griffin guy. We don't really know. They do go into Black Widow's story, and she's with a centaur, and she's being taken to a castle where a king lives, and that's kind of all we get on Black Widow's part. They do go into Spider-Man, and the bird guy is taking him to a nest, let's just say, and we find out that it's just a mask. It's not really a bird person, it's a woman that was under the mask. They do show you that it's not really a nest, but it's a camp, but kind of looks like some rebellion or something like that, but we are kind of told the more meat of the story, because here Peter is reintroduced with Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben tells him that this is the afterlife, that they have all died, and and they're happy to see each other, and that's kind of the end of this episode. A really great read, and if you know what this is, Amazing Fantasy, it's the it's a callback to the original title, Marvel Comics Amazing Fantasy, and Spider-Man started Amazing Fantasy. But it is really like a mix of that comic and like there used to be a book called Science Fantasy, and it's like a mix of both genres. I'm really looking forward to it because I loved both of those, the comic and it was a little like magazine book they used to come out with, and they used to have like 5 or 6 little short stories from like up and becoming authors. Stephen King started with those books. Next up we got Justice League number 66 from DC, and I'm just loving this Justice League. I mean, Justice League has been good since Rebirth, but these last like 6-7 issues since the new team, it has been really good. The only thing I can say is it's coming out every week. Like, slow down, man. It would be okay every 2 weeks, but man, every week. But we are still in the battle with this new guy, and he has decimated, as you can tell on the cover, he decimated the Hall of Justice quite easily. He has taken out most of the new Justice League members, and I think his name is like Slamar. They kind of, and they show you right here, it's in no disbelief. I mean, he decimated, and he is still in combat with most of the members. Most of the members have already been knocked down, and they're kind of getting back up. There was the huge explosion that took out the Hall of Justice, but we are catching up with Diana and Oliver, and they were just mixing up with what comes to appear like a long lost brother to Lois Lane. I mean, he is working with Checkmate. There's this whole like Leviathan and Checkmate like weird thing going on. Argus, Suicide Squad. They're all kind of in the mix. They're espionage like stories, but Oliver, he is currently like the CEO at Checkmate. He owns Checkmate. He built the Hall of Justice. He's wealthy. That is the Green Arrow if you're not up to date. But Oliver, Queen, the Green Arrow, he kind of runs all that. So Black Canary is kind of finding out for the first time. They are like double checking with Lois, to see if that was really her brother, and she confirms that it is her brother that is working for Checkmate. So they are trying to get back to the Hall of Justice because they are informed. Lois informs them that there has been a massive explosion. The Hall of Justice is gone. We see our new guy right here, and it's really like the first time they've kind of drawn him, to my understanding in this run, what he looks like. But that's Cinemar, I think his name is. And they show like different members of the Justice League trying to take him out, and he quickly like one punches them. I mean, he is obviously in a different league than the Justice League that are currently fighting him, and that's including like Hepaliah, Superman, some of the big heavy members of the Justice League. And we see him like creep under the Justice League, and he kind of like communicates with it's his wife, and they've been estranged because he was supposed to be on trial, and that's where he came into this whole storyline. And he is telling his wife that, hey, I'm taking over Earth. I'm gonna give it up to the summit. And she's like, wait, you're supposed to be on trial. You did all these bad things. That was the plan. Like our people gave you this power, and this is what you're doing with it. And he's like, yeah, but I can take over Earth and make up for it, and enslave this race and give it to the planet, and they'll be fine. And he calls them like the planetarian utopia or something like that. We find out that Superman overheard all this, and he's all about justice, and and he's not cool with it, and he's like, bro, there's other ways we can do this. This is not how to do this. You would kill like everybody here just to appease, and he even through talking to Samara, he's still not. Samara's like, nah, I'm still gonna do it. And Black Adam has heard all this, and he is not for the especially in the enslavement part, but the decimation of the earth in general. So he goes to town. As he goes to town, Naomi is in the background. Her parents were under the Hall of Justice with Constantine, and we find out that they were protected. He opened up like a portal that took him to like Fate Tower. she quickly tells him to get back in Fate Tower, and then she rushes back up to the fight. We are back up here, and basically the Justice, most everybody that got knocked down are back up, and they're back into trying to take out some more. We see that the Flash is in the background, like saving all the other Justice Leagues. At the same time, like we kind of see Naomi like reacting in like a weird way, and they show it here and here. And at first, I didn't know what was going on, and it's Samar. He's like absorbing her power, and she obviously did Samar. She has a lot of power, like especially compared to everybody there. For some reason, he is like really drawn, and he's getting more powerful because of her. The full alert for the Justice League has gone out, so there's a ton of members that are showing up, like Captain Atom and like the Blue Devil, and that's probably not his name, but they show Vixen, they do show like Hawkgirl is back in it, and she was taken out a couple issues before by Samar, and now she's going back after him. But they basically, like at the very end, they just show that like that basically Naomi feels that she's about to power up, and Black Adam is right there behind her, like getting ready to enforce this this major beatdown that they're all about to tag team and do on Samar. And quickly Superman intervenes, and he's like, "Stop this! No, this isn't how we fix this." And right as he's doing that, I have to look at their name, the United Order shows up to recollect Samar. So we're gonna see if Samar turns himself in and goes back with the United Order, or if there's this epic showdown between not just one Justice League, but a space Justice League. So next up, a side story, Justice League Dark, that has been running on throughout Justice League, and it's been just as good as the main story. Honestly, I'm ready for it to get its own. Ramvi has just been killing it on the writing. But we are in the dream world, back with Batman and the 13th Night, I think she was called. She's one of the Knights of the Round Table, and they are trying to figure out what Merlin did to this guy here, and he is trapped in his head. And they show you that they are like hopping around in his head, and that they found like this man's inner child, and they are trying to go through all these different dream scenarios, and they show you from panel to panel to panel. Each one's a different world, a different dream, and they have to basically find the evil version of him and conquer him. They do so, and eventually, they piece him back together, and they also find out that little kid was not just his inner child, but he was really just a little kid trapped in an older man's body. He does have some like weird intelligence. He is a magic user, and that's why Merlin was after him. But in this guise, he has, with Merlin doing this, he has kind of messed up himself, because he allowed this little kid to kind of see his plans, and he informs Batman and the 13th Night right here, like, "Hey man, this is what Merlin plans to do. You need to do this real quick, So they kind of flip over, and we saw that Merlin is at the bottom of the ocean at Atlantis, and he is at the bottom of Atlantis, and he is trying to get into this ancient old thing that even Atlantis has forgotten about. He is using this creature that you can see right here to breach this shield that this dome that the Atlanteans have created. Is this green color that you can see, and it basically shows that his creature has finally breached through, and Merlin's about to go in. They show you that Justice League Dark is basically like trying to do everything they can with the Atlanteans to prevent Merlin from getting down there, and supposedly once he gets down there, there's some like ancient evil magic that hasn't been unleashed in the DC universe for, this will be like a first supposedly. But they do show that Merlin has during all this mess and everything, that he has made it down here, and they show you right here that it is something, a sight to see, something special. So we know they have something big down there, something nice. And Constantine has been watching. Merlin is aware he's watching, and basically it looks like next up it might be like a showdown or something like that. He does say that beneath the drowned city that the dark world lies dreaming, so it looks like it might be something called a dark world, or I don't know. But that was Justice League number 66 with the Justice League Dark side story. Very, very good. Next up from Bad Idea, this is the lot number 2. Just phenomenal art, as you are about to see. Every Bad Idea book that I've picked up has been, just well written, great art. I mean, definitely quality books. This one is a lot more wordy, and honestly, I have a very good memory of reading story to story. I don't have to keep notes or anything like that, but there are some stories that are easily like forgotten or something like that. So as I started reading this, I was trying to remember what it was about. I remembered it, but it kind of like it catches. I mean, by like the bottom panel, I was already like caught back up. I was like, yes, okay, because I was afraid I was gonna have to go pull back out the first issue. So it's basically about this woman. I think her name is Anya. If not, I'm sorry, bad with names, recalling names, but it is shown that she is like of course, a colored woman. She is a black woman, and she is a director, and she is in a man's world. This is kind of set in, like, let's say the 80s or 90s, something like that. I don't remember if it actually sets, typically where it is, but something like that. And the whole comic is black and white. I mean, I don't mind the black and white, and you'll see the art is phenomenal. I mean, just right here, that first, it has a very realistic tone, but it does look like pencils and pens. It's not like a painting or anything. But we are catching up with her, and she is going to the residence of Olivia Lanson or something like that, and he is somebody that owned the lot. And the lot, she was given by her company to like make some kind of movie magic inside the lot. And as she opened up the lot, it was like all this like creepy and like satanic cold stuff, and rituals had been done there. And she started like selling it out, but then she started realizing that there was some kind of entity there, and something tied to it. So she's basically like kind of tracked down information, and this is the previous owner of the lot. And it was like a group of like 5 people that were a part of this deal, and he kind of goes through this whole story about like, that when they were directors and they were trying to do like the creepiest, scariest stuff, and they kept bringing in like exorcists and demonists and satanists, and just none of them did it. And they were really trying to bring a demon or something like that on screen so they could capture it for the first time, kind of like your whole King Kong, like they wanted to bring it back to America to film it for the first time. And so they wanted to bring back a demon, and he said they tried through all different people that said they could, and no one ever could. And eventually he brought in this one group, and basically they did it in a different fashion. And he said they said that you could bring out like demons and stuff like that through different devices, but it was either blood or like basically death, or like love. And it wasn't just necessarily like the one side, like the evil side, that you could do it through love as well. And supposedly, and he goes into detail, and we have seen that it is the truth, but they were able to summon something. He goes into a lot more detail about like, and they show here like the first time the 5 people, or maybe it's 4, I think it's 5, but the 5 people witnessed, the ritual and the becoming of the said demon. He goes into more detail about like how that once you summon this demon, you have to pay a debt or something like that, and like it has to be paid through death or love type thing. And they kind of lead more to the death kind of thing in the beginning. They do show you in our conversation, because she goes into detail about how she is at like a rich white man's house, and how she is a colored woman, and that anything could happen at this point. He could kill her, and basically he could get away with it type thing. The world we live in, a horrible thing. But and she kind of starts having that fear, and she starts realizing right here that maybe he is telling more of the truth than she knows, because right here in the fireplace you start seeing hands and skulls, and well, the demon is there, and it kind of gives you the feeling that it, ever since she got in the house, it was there. He does go into the kind of spiel like he was hoping she would join type thing, because he was hoping that she would sign the contract and be a part of the whole thing, and he does try and summon the demon thing. And we saw this guy in the first issue. She grabs an axe and quickly like swipes at it away and runs out and leaves, drives off. kind of resents doing the whole like yada 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 thing. We find out that he was trying to use Ava, as part of the love or death deal to get to break his contract. It did not work, so they quickly like jump off to he sends this demon to his like ex-wife, and the ex-wife has just lost like, and he does this whole spiel of like why like he picked his ex-wife and like how he used to love her, and how it was like, for this one moment he was like having to like re-love her or something like that. But she's quickly like eaten or whatever by the demon. She's basically killed, and his contract is done. They do show that like they jump into like one of the other people that was tied to that deal, and it's this rich guy over here, and he is trying to use the love scenario. He's trying to pick up this girl to break out of his deal, and he is successful in picking up the girl. But he doesn't realize that the demon was kind of already there. They show him like right there in the panel, but as they go through, of course, there's like this thing lives like through memories, and it dwells, if you can remember it or see it, and the fact that they're all filmmakers and stuff like that, like it kind of lives in cameras kind of thing. So they show you like as the cameras are taking pictures, this thing is killing this guy. This demon, I get it looks like it has a choice, like it doesn't necessarily have to take the love or the death route, it can choose itself. But at the same time, he technically hadn't loved the girl yet, he was still in the process of picking her up. So the demon just got bored and ends up like killing him right there in front of everybody. To everybody's eyes, it just looked like camera flicking, but like with every flick, it was like that the demon was doing. Basically after that, they kind of show you that she thinks she is like scot-free, but it looks like down here at the bottom that she is somehow tied to the contract now. But they already showed us from the first issue that she is tied to the contract when she entered the lot to begin with. It has a very small side story at the end of the comic, a very black and white comic, and it is just about somebody that was a part of the supergroup. He drinks too much and they kick him out. He gets his revenge by stealing some tech from their futuristic like superhero, and he basically uses that tech, and he's hoping to like gain some advantage so he can just live his life, and and he does steal this tech, and it allows him to listen to the radio in like 1 year into the future. So he uses that and invests in all kind of stock and becomes this wealthy guy. And one day he hears time has caught up, and he hears that the super team knows that he stole that tech, and it's time to come get him. They reveal that he's going to go away to jail for 5 years. And now that he knows this in a year in advance, he kind of makes all these plans and adjacents for when that team shows up to arrest him. They kind of do this whole thing where they think he's just going to turn himself in, and he destroys that tech that he found, and they're like, no, that could have saved like ended world hunger, or we could have used that in a million different ways. It is revealed in his head that was just a replica, what he stashed, during his planning and while stashing money and that kind of stuff, that he had stashed the real thing. And he was very happy to go to jail, knowing that both, his little stash was going to be out when he got out. It was a fun little read, something different, kind of like about a villain winning kind of thing. But that was my reviews. I will be late with the time codes, but I will drop them eventually. So if you're late to this video, congrats to you. No, I'll play it. But please like, comment, subscribe, share. Please comment. I love them comments. I don't know. That's all I got for you, and I got more reviews coming the next couple days. All right, guys. Bye.